Hey guys, so here is the quick tutorial on how to do the invisible stitch. I made this kind of tiny patch of ribbing so that you could see it. Now this is why I say to leave a decent tail, because that will come in handy, but if not, you can just get yarn from what you have. So what you're gonna need is obviously your tapestry needle, and I'm going to safety pin this. You might want to too because you don't have it attached to the sweater. So I'm just gonna do this so it won't be hard to kind of know what I'm doing. All right, so basically what you're gonna do is with your tail or the other yarn that, if you don't have like a long enough tail to do this, you've grabbed more yarn or something. Anyway, you're going to thread it through, and basically I'm pretty sure there's another name for this, but since, you know, I learned how to do this stitch and then I just called it the invisible stitch so much that it just kind of stuck in my head that way. So you might recognize this stitch, you might not. But anyway, the invisible stitch. So what you do is you start out at your first stitch. You start out here in your first stitch and you come in from the bottom. All right, let's move this tail out of the way so we don't get confused. So there we kind of close it. Then we go to the other side, the other stitch. And what you're gonna do is on the other side, on that first stitch, you see how when you kind of pull it apart, it's bars? You're going to go into that first stitch and pick up 2 bars. And then you're gonna pull. And you're gonna make sure that you're closing it up. And basically all you're gonna do as you keep going up is keep picking up 2 bars. As you go along. So that when you see kind of a cross, it starts connecting. Since this ribbing pattern looks the same on both sides, it doesn't really matter which side you start stitching on, because at the end, when you notice which side looks seamless and which one doesn't, you'll know which one to put on the outside of your sweater. And we want the bars to go straight across, so you want to be putting, like for example, if my yarn is coming out of here, if my yarn is coming out of here, I want to go to the same exact place across, because once I pull my yarn through, it's going to be as you can see here, it's a bar straight across, and that just lets you know that you're stitching even and not unevenly. Okay, so I'm already at the top, so I took off my safety pin. But basically to finish it off, you just come in through that top. I like to come in through that braided top part on one side, and then on the other to close it off. Now you see here we have our seamless stitch, and I'll flip it over so you can see the inside. And it's the same pattern on both sides, so you get to pick which side's your wrong side. And you know, this little stitched part, obviously if it doesn't look as great, we keep that on the back side, on the inside, so that no one sees it. But there, see? Now you have your seamless cuff. And obviously with these tails, like any tails, you can hide them. I like to hide them in the sweater. So I actually like for example, this is the ribbing and my sweater's over here, I like to hide them in the sweater rather than in the cuff, because the cuff's thinner yarn and I just feel like you might be able to see it a little more. So I like to hide them in the sweater. And that's basically it. Then you'll have your kind of seamless, well, not kind of, because I think it's seamless, but and with red I feel like you can't really tell, but there you have it. That's how to connect your 2 pieces. If you did your ribbing in two and not with circular needles, which would make it one.